Who's that? Can
It's
you
me.
can okay, so I'll just share the screen and then you can go. Okay, sharing. Okay, so I'll make it bigger. Okay, so this is slightly too big, isn't it? Is it visible now?
It's good.
Okay, you can go on.
The heart of the transcendent perfection of wisdom. Homage to Bhagavati Prashna Paramita. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajigra at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered an absorption on categories of phenomena called perception of the profound. At the same time, noble Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and the Great Being, beheld the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, and saw that the five aggregates are empty of nature. Then, through the Buddha's power, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and Great Being, how should a child of noble family who wishes to practice the profound perfection of wisdom train? This is what he said, and the noble Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and Great Being, replied to Venerable Shariputra as follows. O Shariputra, a son of noble family, or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound perfection of wisdom should regard things in this way. They should see the five aggregates to be empty of nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, sensation, recognition, conditioning, factors, and consciousness are emptiness. Therefore, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. They are without characteristics, they are unarisen and unceasing. They are not tainted and not untainted. They are not deficient and not complete. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no recognition, no conditioning factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no texture, and no mental objects. There is no I element up to no my element, and as far as no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, up to no old age and death. No extinction of old age and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since bodhisattvas have no attainment, they rely on and abide by the perfection of wisdom. Since their minds are unobscured, they have no fear. They completely transcend error and reach the ultimate nirvana. All the Buddhas throughout the three times fully awakened to unsurpassed, genuine, and complete enlightenment by means of the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra that equals the unequal, the mantra that pacifies all suffering, is not false and should thus be understood as true. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed as follows. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Viswaha. Shariputra, a bodhisattva and great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom in this way. Thereupon, the Blessed One arose from that absorption and commanded Avalokitesvara, the bodhisattva and great being. Excellent, excellent indeed. O son of noble family, that is how it is. That is just how it is. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have taught, and then even the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One has said this, Venerable Shariputra, the noble Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva and Great Being, together with the whole assembly and the world of gods, human beings, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoice and praise the speech of the Blessed One. Thus concludes the Mahayana Sutra of the Blessed Mother, the heart of the transcendent perfection of wisdom.
Thank you. So for the today's meditation, we will again repeat the yesterday's meditation. So for those whom so basically we talk about two kinds of meditation, the zooming in and then zooming out. So you can do whatever it works for you well. Basically, there is so many different ways of meditating is taught, especially in terms of emptiness meditation, which is vipassana, right? So again, vipassana has two types of meditation: the analyzing meditation and then one-pointed meditation. So here until now we have been doing the analytical meditation rather than the one-pointed meditation. So we will today we will touch upon the one-pointed meditation as well at the end of the analytical meditation. Okay. So the process of the meditation when you start is kind of same. So you start with the physical thing that it matters for you, you right now, that something that you can feel and experience right now. And this is important because sometimes what happens is that we tend to tend to establish or discover and thus what happened is that we cannot really relate ourselves to our practice. So then we feel like our practice is somewhere and then our practical life is somewhere else. So in that way, there is big gap between our practice and our practical life. So in order to blend the practical life, the mundane life, and to our practice, then we have to really keep closer. When we try to establish any emptiness on something, then we have to make it so practical. You have maybe you have to if you are feeling something out of one reason, then that reason can be, or situation can be the object of the object that is establishing the emptiness. Okay, so it can be any reason, like maybe the war that we are seeing nowadays, or something that's happening in your life right now, or something that bothers you, or something that makes you happy, something that make you sad, or anything it can be. So if you are able to relate it, your practice to your real experience, then that will help you more when you encounter with those situations in future. So basically, the practice, I always say that meditation is prevention rather than a cure. Once you have already got into the strong emotion, when you are already in strong emotion, I don't think the meditation will help you so much at that point, because you are already drawn into that emotion, and then that emotional state, the strong emotional state. really strong emotional state, then meditation will not help you. But what I'm saying is, it's it will not help you as much as if you are doing regularly. Okay, because yeah, sometimes you may find that meditation help you to get out of that this emotional state, but it would be very for a very short time of period. It's like then you forget things, right? Then you feel like, okay, I'm feeling good. So that kind of things, because it's not regular for you. So that's why if you can make a time for yourself, and I don't think you cannot make it, because definitely our life is really important, but the more important is our mind, because life will, I think, I don't know how long it will last, but the mind will last, uh, I, if not forever, but more longer than the life. So definitely you have to think about your life, and then whatever you have to do, you have to do, but don't really underestimate the mind, because you have to go with the mind, not the life, not this life, right? So that's why we have to take care of think about more of mind than this life. So, and that is why meditation becomes so important for us, uh, because meditation is the only way that help us to train our mind. Otherwise, any action that you do, any physical action, beneficial action that you do, yeah, more or less it will help you to um, train a little bit of your mind, but it will not help you so much. So that's why meditation comes into really playing a big role into that. So, okay, coming back to the Vipassana. So first, try to think something that is really related to you, like your house, or I mean your body, or your feeling, or whatever it is. So try to make it really personal, and then imagine that object, and then you can either zoom in or zoom out. It's up to you. So basically, whether you are zooming in or zooming out, so the the goal is to get rid of that object from your mind, right? So so there's both way you will get rid of that object from your mind. So when you go far from that object, you will lose that object. When you go too close to that object, you will also lose that object. So it's kind of same, right? Zooming in or zooming out is completely two ways of like getting to the same point. And then at the same time, when you are zooming in or zooming out, you have to really um, aware of what you are doing. What is your mind doing right now when you are zooming in or zooming out? So what is your mind doing? I mean, where is it looking at? Is it looking at the outer phenomena, or is it having its own imagination, and then like trying to meditate, or trying to zooming out or zooming in? So look at that mind, and then when you are finished with zooming out or zooming in of the outer phenomena, or the object that the mental object, the reflection that is in your mind, and then when you are completely done with the mental image, then you will just have the clarity, right? So even that clarity has to be it shouldn't be an object of your own mind. So in order to get rid of that, even that clarity, then you have to again put that into either into the time frame and then make it smaller and smaller, and then until you lost even that clarity, and you have to really break it down. And then after you break it down, then you have to maintain that experience. So again, I am really under pressure of using experience, the word experience, where, which I shouldn't be using the word experience, because as soon as I say experience, then we have this notion, understanding of, oh, feeling something, right? But it shouldn't be in that way. But it should be more or less like, when a baby, if you, infant, let's say infant, who has no idea of what is coming in his or her mouth. So if you put a like small sweet cookie on his in his mouth, then he will experience that taste, but he cannot really express, because he has no word, he has no I don't think he has a very constructive thought like us. And then but it doesn't mean that he's not experiencing, right? So we have to be kind of like that when we go to the ultimate reality. And then just when you get there, then you have to you need to maintain that experience, and that is called the one-pointed meditation. So as a beginner, analyzing meditation is more important, but you have to do some one-pointed meditation at the end of the meditation, and then you have to prolong the one-pointed meditation, and then make the analytical meditation shorter, right? So first we do the analytical meditation longer, and then we have the short period of time to maintain the result of that analytical meditation. But as we go through that, then we have to switch now the time period. So we do the analytical meditation shorter, and then we prolong or extend the one-pointed meditation. So, and then there will be time that you don't have to do the analytical meditation. You can just go to the that one-pointed meditation, where you can just you don't have to go all through that process of like zooming in and zooming out, but you can just go straight to the emptiness, because at that point you are already a accomplished meditator. So that's why you don't have to go to all those process of the analyzing the emptiness, or developing the emptiness in yourself. Okay, so for today's we will again start with the analytical meditation, and then maybe give yourself like 1 minute, or like even the second at least for the one-pointed meditation. Okay, for one-pointed meditation. I don't know how it would be really weird to say 1 minute, but as soon as you get to that, the emptiness of outer phenomena and emptiness of the inner mind, then you just try to maintain that. If you get lost, then okay, just try to bring back your mind, and then if you like, let's say if you reach to the that emptiness point, and then you try to maintain it, and then you forget, and then you already wandering somewhere in a coffee shop, eating a burger with cappuccino, then think of that cappuccino and the burger, and then try to zooming in that burger and cappuccino, okay? And then you just establish the emptiness of the burger and then cappuccino, and then maintain on that state. So again, you might find yourself in a store, somewhere in a store buying stuff, and then again, like, establish the emptiness of that store, and then maintain the emptiness. So this is how you do. So wherever you mind wander, when you bring back, you have to bring back with the emptiness of establish the emptiness of that situation. Okay, so in that way you come back to the emptiness, and then in that way what you understand is there's no difference between the burger and then a storeroom and then cappuccino. Okay, because at the end of the day, at the end of the meditation, you get to the whether you are thinking of establishing emptiness of burger, storeroom, or Starbucks, or whatever it is, then you get to the emptiness, right? You get to the emptiness. So that's how I think we have to bring back our mind when our minds wander. Okay. Okay, so please prepare yourself. I will set the alarm. Okay, so we will start the meditation in 1, 2, 3. you. Okay, so I have a slide today. So we'll go through the slide, okay? Any question before we go through the slide? And any question on about the meditation, the today's meditation? If you have any, you can ask.
Kambola, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
It's when you describe that it's analytic meditation and also one-pointed meditation, and that one-pointed meditation at the end is considered creation and completion, the completion part of the meditation.
Yeah, I think now you're kind of involving the now tantra stuff here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's not appropriate, I don't have to ask.
No, yeah, we will not touch upon that, but still, you know, I just like to mention this one, like when in creation and completion meditation, I think the both analytical and then you know, the one pointed there
Okay.
in both type of meditation. Okay, so I think it should be there, but so here again, when I say analyze, then you know, we don't stick on one thing. We just keep moving on, right? So when you zoom in, we shift our you know, object of meditation very constantly, like, you know, very, you know, in momentarily, let's say, I mean, so we change the object of meditation. When you zoom in, then, you know, the object is all you know, like momentarily changing.
Yes.
So that's why this is called the analyzing, because it is a process, or like, you know, you are moving forward. But when you are not when you reach at the emptiness state, or emptiness, the nature, then you don't do anything. You just let the mind be at the natural state. Although we say one pointed, which seems that, you know, it is doing something, but in reality it shouldn't be doing anything.
Okay.
Right, it shouldn't be doing anything. The mind has to really stop acting, or stop doing anything.
Okay.
So that is called the in this context, okay, in this context, that is called the one-pointed meditation in Vipassana's context.
Okay.
The Shamatha's context is slightly different, okay.
Yeah, because you mentioned the room in, the room out, because I studied Kant. So Kant also has a theoretical sublime. So room out at the end, it becomes sublime, and the room in, you know, it could be become both cannot see, right? So it just, it's coincident. And so it's just add on. So I got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great. Okay, so okay, now let's go through the okay, so can you see this relative truth stuff? Can you see that? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's talk about the truth first, the word truth. So when we say something is truth or something is true, then we tend to think about, we have this tendency to think about, okay, so when something is true, it has to be things in themselves, or something in object, you know, something exists objectively, right? And this is very much because of the science, this because of the influence of the science, because science like to collect the data, and then the data should be something that you observe in the object itself, not what you think or what you have in your mind, but rather it has to be on the object level. So that is what the science believe, right? And that's what we call objective truth. But if you look at the Buddhist thing and Buddhist, if you come to the, when you come to the Buddhist idea, and then the way things the truth and object are defined and explained. So maybe you can say there's two types, like existentialist and then idealist. But the existentialist that is coming from the Western philosophy is kind of different from the existentialist that we have in Buddhism, such as the two first school of Buddhism, Vaibhashika and Sautantrika. We tend to call them Ngobomawa. Ngobomawa. I think Ngobomawa is very close to what we call existentialist, meaning Ngobomawa means someone who believes in a truly existent phenomena, so that they are called the Ngobomawa, meaning so who believe in a truly existent phenomena. So I said it, and this Ngobomawa is close to the existentialist because when they describe the thing, truly existent thing, then they have two, like truly existence thing as the outer phenomena, and then the mind itself. So the two, but the difference between the Western philosophy, I'm really generalizing here, and then I can be completely wrong here, okay, because I have no idea of what's happening in the Western philosophy. I have just read some small notes, so it can be really like I don't know, I can be really wrong here, but this is what I got right now. I have more to explore. So when we say existentialists from the Western point of view, then they are really thinking about something that is there in themselves objectively, whether you perceive it or not, it's there. Whether someone know it or not, or detect it or not, it's there. So that is the objective truth. But when it comes to the even to the Vaibhashika and Sautantrika, in the Buddhist existentialist, when they say existence, and then the definition of the existence is to be perceived by a valid cognition, right? The definition of the existence is the semitobarchawa, the object that is to be perceived by a valid cognition. So that is the something called existence or truth. And here you can now when you hear this definition, then in this definition the mind the cognition is involved. So without cognition you cannot have a outer phenomena. So basically both the outer phenomena and the mind, the perceiving mind, is interdependent, mutually dependent to each other. Whereas I cannot see so much in terms of when it comes to the Western philosophy, I don't see that kind of interpretation, which I can be wrong. This is what I understand, right? And up until now, but so then, okay, just we will just keep the Buddhist stuff here. Otherwise, I get lost. So the truth again. So the Vaibhashika and Swatantrika and even up to the Chittamatrin, so for them, truth is something that can be perceived by the valid cognition. So that is the truth. But for Madhyamika, people like Chandakirti and like Shantarakshita and Shantideva, Arya Nagarjuna, for them, truth is all the time perceived by a valid cognition. And when they say valid cognition, that valid cognition always refer to the wisdom. Then that wisdom is Bhumi's wisdom or Arya's wisdom, those who have got the realization that refers to that. But we have two types of truth, right? Relative truth and then ultimate truth. So ultimate truth is the real truth, but the relative truth is a although it is called the truth, but it's not the truth. It's not the truth. It seems to be truth, but it's not the truth. Okay, so that's why both truths are a result of two types of mind. Like the relative truth is the result of the unrefined or diluted mind. So when our mind is diluted, then we tend to see things which is the relative truth, relatively truth, okay, relatively truth, because it seems to be true in that mind. And then there's another truth is the ultimate truth, right? So ultimate truth is truth according to the wisdom or according to the realization, right? Truth according to the realization or the wisdom, the ultimate, like the Buddha's wisdom or Buddhist, the Bhumi's Bodhisattva's wisdom. Okay, so I hope I'm not confusing you guys anyway. So let's say there's Bhava Viveka, Chandakirti, and Shandarakshita. So we are asking all to these three guys. So Bhava Viveka is the pioneer of the Savatandrikan Madhyamika, and then Chandakriti is the follower of the Buddha Palita, who is the pioneer of the Prasanjikas Madhyamika. And then Shantarakshita is another pioneer of Madhyamika called, let's say, the Yogacharan Madhyamika. Okay, so we have, there are more sub schools of the Madhyamika, but these are the three really like prominent Madhyamika school and the school. Okay, so first one is the Swatantrikan Madhyamika, like innovated by Bhava Viveka, and then second one is Prasanjika Madhyamika, who is pioneered by Chandakirti's master, the Buddha Palita. So Buddha Palita is not direct master of Chandakirti, but Chandakirti follows that Buddha Palita, okay? And then Shantarakshita is the Yogacharan Madhyamika, okay? So these three Madhyamika has different way to understand the relative truth. In terms of the ultimate truth, they don't have a different view. When I say they don't have different view in terms of the ultimate reality, those who follow the Gelug tradition would argue that they have like different in terms of the ultimate reality, and I would say definitely Jerumbuche Jetsongkhapa would argue that they have even difference in terms of the ultimate reality, but most of the Sakyas tradition and then Kagyu tradition and Nyingma tradition, we believe that in this Madhyamika school, although they have slightly different in terms of how they interpret the relative truth, but they really don't have the indifference in terms of the how to interpret and how to how they interpret the ultimate reality. And it is because that all of these masters has gained the wisdom and the wisdom of the realization. So that is why it's inappropriate to say that they have indifference in the wisdom part, or especially the ultimate level, because if they have the indifference in terms of the ultimate reality, then one of them shouldn't be shouldn't be the realized masters. So that is why in Nyingma's tradition and most of the Kaju's tradition and Sakyas tradition, we believe that although these three we have different sub school of the Madhyamika, they have no indifference in terms of the when they explain and interpret the ultimate reality, but they have difference the way they understand the relative truth. Okay, so okay, first we have say one question. What do you see in the first here? What do you see at the top of the what's the image that you see in the top? Apple, right? The red apple, right? Red apple. So if you ask all three of these three masters, let's say Bhavavivika, Chandakriti, and Chandarakshita, they are all there, and then you hold that apple in your hand, and then if you ask them, what is this, to all three of them, then what do you think they would answer? Right? All three of them will say, this is an apple. And then if you ask the color of the apple, then they would say it's a red. If you ask, how many leaves it has, then all of them would say one leaf, right? One leaf, and then a tiny, what do you call that, branch, or I don't know what to get that called. So all same, answer same. But you cannot really underestimate that, oh yeah, all of them has the same answer. So maybe they have no difference in terms of the how they explain the relative truth. Okay, so here we have to understand that when we talk about the relative and the ultimate truth, we have to understand the three level of the way our mind work, or the way our mind give the reason. So first, just take it for granted. Just like you don't try to give any reason, but you just have heard of somewhere, and then because of the social norm and because of the cultural background, and then because of whatever you have learned from your childhood, you just say it, this is an apple because I have heard people saying this as an apple, and then this is a red apple because people have said, people consider this as a red, and then this is a leaf. Okay, so at that point you are not really scrutinizing or examining what is the apple and what is the color or what's the leaf. You just take for granted and then say, okay, this is the apple. Okay, so without any examination. But next time when you say again, like when all three of them has said, okay, this is an apple, then if you again stress the question, do you really think it's the apple? Like, do you really think it's an apple? Then they have, they have to think again whether it is the apple or not. So at that point, now the answer changes. The answer changes. So for the Baba Viveka, he would say, no, it appears to be an apple, but in that apple, the appleness is not there, but the atom, the subatomics, it is a kind of cluster of a subatomic particles. So now you can see Baba Viveka has now really shrink in, and then he has zoomed in until the really subatomic level. So, and then he stopped there, and he is still talking about the relative truth, but he has lost the apple, right? He has lost the apple, but he reached to the atomic level, right? So, but for Chandrakriti didn't stop there. He really like go further and then said, oh, this is, no, I don't think even it is a group of subatomic, because I can go further and then I cannot find anything at all. It's, the nature of the apple is the empty. So here you can see the Baba Viveka has made a stop, and whereas Chandrakriti has no stop. It went straight to the emptiness, right? Whereas in when it comes to the Chandarakshita or Yogacharan Madhyamikas guys, they also didn't stop, but they went until they vanish the all atoms of the apple, and then they get to the non-existence of the apple, which is kind of equal to the emptiness of the apple, but not really the same. Okay, we will discuss that. But now the another question is, if this is not the apple, then how how in the like what makes us have this idea of an apple, then what makes us think and then see this an apple? Then for Baba Viveka, he would say this is because we have an image of that apple in our mind. That is why we tend to think that that image is out there, right? That is why we call it apple, and then that's why we call it blue, red, and then that's why we call it it has the one leaf and it has one small branch, tiny branch. But so this is the Baba Viveka, and then when it comes to the Chandakriti has another different interpretation. Why do we see, why do we see this as an apple? Chandakriti would say, we see this in an apple because you have delusion, you are diluted, and you can, you are not being able to maintain the empty, the nature of the emptiness. That is why you create your own imagination, and then you have this apple in your mind. So that is called delusion. Okay. And then for the Shantarakshita, he would say, yeah, this is just in your own mental reflection. But what is different answer between the Shantarakshita and Bhava Viveka? If we compare, then Bhava Viveka would say, this mental image that we have in our mind, it is a reflection of that atomic particles that is out there. It gives us a reflection, and then we have this mental image. Whereas Chandarakshita would say, no, the mental image is not coming from outside, but it is rather coming from inside, within the mind, due to the delusion. So although now they are talking about an apple, they have lost the they have completely lost the apple already. You can see, because they are talking about Bhava Viveka, and Chandarakshita is talking about the mental image now, right? So mental image, the mental image that we have in our mind, whereas the Chandarakshita is talking about a delusion. So when you oh, sorry, I think I have made a mistake here. It says unscrutinize a bit. It has to be scrutinize a bit. Okay, examine please take out that prefix. It is a mistake. Okay, so unscrutinize and then scrutinize a bit. So when you scrutinize a bit, then you lost the apple. You have lost the apple, but for the Bhava Viveka, you have not completely lost the he has not completely lost the property that makes the apple. And even for the Chandarakshita, he has not completely lost the property that project the apple. But for Chandakriti, he has lost the property of the apple, and then apple itself. Are you guys following me, or kind of?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, now when you completely using the Madhyamikan logic, and then completely like scrutinize and then try to really reach to the ultimate level, then what happened is, so now we have to talk about the mental image and then delusion, right? So if you ask the Bhava Viveka, so okay, so we understand that that is just in your own mental image, which is like reflected, which is caused by the outer phenomena, and then you have that mental image, and then why do you have that mental image? You have to ask him. Then he would say, because of the delusion. So now you can see Bhava Viveka is coming after the Chandakirti, right? But basically he is really like following the same route. It's just that he make a one stop extra, right? Where he talks about a mental image, right? So, and then, you know, where does that mental delusions comes from? Then he would say, and that mental delusion is arose from the awareness, right? And then if you ask, where does that awareness, and then, you know, awareness, if you look at that awareness and then fully examine, then that awareness also has no property, and then it will become the emptiness. So this is the process of how, you know, you have first the basement is the emptiness of the mind, and then you have the mind, and then delusion, and then you have the image, mental image, and then you impute that mental image as an outer phenomena, and then everything is happening, right? So this is how the Bhava Viveka understand the two truths. For the Chandakriti, so first outer image, outer phenomena, and then, you know, when he scrutinized a bit, then he lost the outer phenomena, but now he has the mind who is looking at it. And then even that mind, if you ask him, why do I have this, you know, if the apple is not there, then why do I have this you know, idea of the apple? Then he would say, because you are deluded, because you are ignorant. So then how do I deal with that ignorance? Then, you know, you have to understand the awareness. And then, does awareness really exist? Then no, even that awareness doesn't exist. So in that way, what happened is, you know, you deal with the apple first, and then you deal with the idea of the apple, and then you deal with the mind that give rise to the idea of apple, and then you deal with the awareness, and then you get to the emptiness of that mind. So basically, now you have lost both the subject and object of the apple, right? Subject, the object is the apple, and then subject is the mind that's looking at the apple. So you have lost, you have completely dealt with the you are completely dealing with the subject and object, and this is called, you are dealing with the dualistic mind. And then when you are able to deal with this two, subject and object, then you have no dualistic mind, right? So this one is the Chandakriti. And then as when it comes to the Chandarakshita, then now we have reached until the mental reflection, right? Mental image. So that mental image is not caused by outer phenomena, but it came due to the due to the delusion that that is on the alaya. So, and then that delusion is also not truly exist, but rather, you know, it is just a awareness, and then even that awareness or clarity is not truly exist, and that is the emptiness. If you scrutinize, basically, if you zoom in or zoom out, okay, so so that is the you know, how you get to the emptiness, to the from the relative truth to the emptiness, and then emptiness to the relative truth. Okay, so this would be in this way. Okay, so here first, when you are not scrutinizing, you have apple, but when you scrutinize a bit, then you have like, if I am Baba Viveka, I would see the, no, I wouldn't see the apple as an apple, but I would see the property of the apples. Then when I see the property of apple, I've already lost the apple. And then if I were asked, okay, where does this idea of apple comes from, then the Baba Viveka would reply that this idea of apple is coming from that property, because that property of the apple gives a reflection, send a reflection to my mind, and then I have this this a reflection, the mental reflection in my mind. And then why do I have this mental reflection? Because I'm deluded by I'm deluded by the outer phenomena, and I'm not being able to be aware of the reality, right? And then, okay, in order to get rid of that delusion, what do I have to do is I have to be aware that the outer phenomena is not the apple, but it's just a a cluster or a collection of an atom, and even that atom is not not truly exists. But if I just break it down, okay, I can break it down until it fade away, and then there's no truly outer phenomena, right? And then what left is only the awareness. And even that awareness is, if you put that into the time frame, and then if you break it down, then you will lose that awareness as well. So meaning now there's no mind that looking at an apple that that is born from the outer phenomena, and there's not even the apple out there, right? So this is how Baba Viveka would deal with true truths. So true truths first, the unscrutinized state is the relative truth, and then state of scrutinized a bit is also in relative level, but scrutinized by the Madhyamika logic is where you get to the ultimate reality, in the emptiness. And then when it comes to the Chandakriti, so first you have when you unscrutinize at all, then you have the relative. Then after that, you will not have any. You don't have the kind of relative, but you get to the emptiness of the apple, but you have not dealt with the mind. So you have to deal with the mind, emptiness of the mind. And then when you deal with the emptiness of the mind, then you have the ultimate reality, right? So for the Shandarakshita, so in the second state where he scrutinized a bit, then he has non-existence of the phenomena, and then he has a mental image, and then delusion and awareness, and then after that he get to the emptiness of the awareness as well. So this is the three different way of how you get to the emptiness from the relative truth, right? How you get to the emptiness from relative truth. So basically, for me, I don't think any like conflict between these three tradition. It is more or less like, let's so let's say I'm going to New York, from Virginia, and then like if I stop to a DC, and then I change, or I a bus or train or whatever I'm traveling through, and then I go to a New York. This is one way to do it, right? And then I can also take a direct bus or train. This another way, right? And or maybe I can stop two station, like DC, or let's say if I'm going to Boston, then I stop in a DC and then New York, and then I go to Boston. Basically, although it seems different, but it's the same route. Same route. Same route. So that's why when people says like 3 subdivision of sub school of Madhyamika, then sometimes we tend to think that, oh, now there are so many difference, like they they understand differently, and then it's difficult to understand. But if you really like go close and then really try to see from the closer, then you will not find so much difference between them. But it's just a different way of like how you get to the emptiness. Okay, any question so far?
Yes.
Go on.
Let's start from the beginning.
Okay, let's go back.
Well, when you, in this context here, what does emptiness mean? What is it? What is something empty? What is the apple empty of?
Apple is empty of apple.
So what does that mean? Apple is empty of apple.
Apple has no nature of apple. Apple has no nature of appleness.
What do you mean by the nature of apple?
I mean, the taste of the apple, the color of the apple, the shape of the apple, and then the idea of the apple.
Well, the apple obviously has a shape, has a color, and has taste. I can taste it, I can see it, I can touch it.
Yeah, when you do not scrutinize, I would say yes, you have shape, you have color, you have everything. But when you scrutinize and break it down, then you will not find the apple, not find the shape, not find the taste. That's what it means.
So what I'm negating here is the apple.
Sorry.
I see. So what I am negating here, what I'm getting rid of here.
No, you're not getting rid of anything at all. And you are not getting rid of anything at all.
Okay, so if I'm not getting rid of anything, then when I go into the atoms of the apple and not see the apple, what is it that I'm not seeing?
Or you can say you are not seeing the apple, but you're not negating the apple. You're not neglecting the apple, but you're not seeing the apple because there's no apple to be seen.
Okay, so there's this very common phrase in Buddhists like to say that we are deluded, we do not see reality as it is. So reality as it is, how does apple exist?
Yeah, how does apple exist? I think we will go through the text and then it will tell us. When the apple exists just because that you are told that this is an apple. What if you are told that you are told this is an this is an orange from the very beginning of your birth? Someone called this is an orange, and this is a the color of this orange is a white, and then there's something that you can see is a tree. If you are taught in that way in the very beginning of your birth, what would you say today?
Okay, so that is coming out. So let me not get into that.
Yeah.
If I may ask a little bit about what you've been talking about I think yesterday and maybe last week. Shanta Rashita has laid out this very beautiful refutation of the Chitta Mantra false expectarian and true expectarian and false expectarian. So it sounded like he has refuted the Chitta Mantra view. So if that is the case, how is he a Chitta Yogacara Madhyamaka?
Very good question. I would say very good question. So here now I would like to show this this image. Okay, so you can see that at your right hand side I have written the Chandarakshita, right? Chandarakshita. So Chandarakshita for the Chandarakshita, when things are not scrutinized and when you are talking to someone who has no idea of Madhyamika and whatever it is, then Chandarakshita would say, when you say, is this apple? He would say, yes, this is an apple. But and then if that person is more curious and then, do you really think this is an apple? Then Chandarakshita would say, no, this is just your imagination. You are just imagining this is an apple, but there's no apple, but you have the idea of apple and then thinking that this is an apple. So here, what Chandarakshita, just let me complete, okay? What he has done is that as soon as he is asked the second question, is this really apple? Then he kind of lost the apple and then he went into the mind. So this is just a mind creating, it's a projection of your mind. So this is how Chitta Matrin says. It is not very common in the Madhyamikan's language.
I understood that part. That's why he's called Yogacharan Madhyamika. That there's no external phenomena, and the object and the subject comes from the same seed. That comes from the alaya. So that's their explanation of objects. But as I was saying, that earlier in the earlier lessons, Shanta Rashita had this refutation that refute how the true and the false aspectarian explain the aspect, the mental, the objective aspect and the subjective aspect, these two. So once that is refuted, then how is it feasible to still have that kind of scenario? Because the Chitta Mantra, the primary division is the true and the false aspectarian. That's the primary division. So if you have refuted both of that, then how can the Chitta Mantra view still be viable? I mean, according to those refutation.
Okay, that's a very good question. Again, really, like I appreciate that one. So when Chandarakshita talks about the relative truth, he follows Chitta Matrin. He follows Chitta Matrin. But when it comes to the ultimate reality, he doesn't follow Chitta Matrin. He skipped the Chitta Matrin and then go to the Madhyamika. That is why he has to refute the theory of truly expectarian and then false expectarian, because it doesn't matter whether you are a follower of the true expectarian or the false expectarian. You have to believe that there is a awareness which is truly existent, and Chandarakshita hesitates to say that awareness is truly existent. That is why Chandarakshita has to refute the idea of expectarian and then false expectarian, then true expectarian. It is just because they believe that it's truly existent. But if if Chittamatra said that, oh, this false expectarian and true expectarian is just in a relatively truth, but it's not truly existent, then Shantarakshita would completely follow them.
I see. Okay.
Okay, that's good. Really good questions.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will move on to the next slide, where now let's talk a little bit about the two types of relative truth. So again, this relative truth is completely false, okay? Completely false, but among the false, there is like, so if you have apple that is already rotten, but you can choose better, choose among them, like which is better and then which is worse, right? So here it is happening here, okay? So although all the relative truth is just a false, and then they are not there as it appears, but among them you can also say these are the more true and then others are less true or false. So like the false relative truth is like, if you are seeing due to some like the mental disease or physical disease or physical disability, if you are seeing something that is not normally accepted by the people and then by the social, and that is called the false relative truth. Let's say, if you are seeing a snow mountain as a yellow, and it's not normal to in our human society, right? And it is due to some problem with your eye, or maybe because of some mental disorder, the immediate mental disorder, or like by birth you have someone who is seeing in that way has some disability in terms of physical or in terms of mental, or sometimes it can be the situation itself, like when when someone is really like rolling a fire uh, with his hand in, then you see this as a circle, right? And this is due to the situation, because he is creating that situation as if you think that is a circle, right? So these are called the false relative truth. So although it seems to you, for individual, for you or someone who is having this who is involved in that kind of situation, or who is involved in the disability of physical strength and then mental strength, then for them it seems like it's a true. But for the social, for the society, it's not a true. So that's why it's the false relative truth. And then true relative truth is something that is common for the society. Something that's common for the society, such as when you look at this, you see you will call it hand and left and fingers and palms, and you call it. And this is just because you're taught and you're told, and your culture, the social has accepted and then perceived this as in that way. So that's why it is true, but it is not really ultimate truth. It is just a relatively truth, because when someone like Chandarakshita or Chandakriti and or Nagarjuna come, and then when they look at my hand, then they would see differently. right? They might not call is a hand, but they would call the empty of hand. Right? So that's why it's a relatively truth. We, when is truth for someone who is deluded, only truth for someone who is deluded. Okay, and then the false relative truth is it is truth for someone who has some kind of mental disability or like physical disability, or they are involved in a particular situation that makes him or her to sin in that way or experience in that way. Okay, so these are the two types of a relative truth, or false relative truth, and then true relative truth. So okay, so that is the presentation on the relative truth. So very general general one. So we will go through the text next week. So we'll stop here today. If you have any question, you can ask, please. We have more like eight minutes.
So this may be sort of jumping ahead, but in the Sakya school, we have Korda Yurdik. And I'm wondering how much influence Santi Rakshita had with the development of that philosophical view within the Sakya school.
For me, Shantarak, we are really close. Sakyas are really close to how Shantarakshita is explaining. So in Patan, its fruit, and the teaching of Patan, its fruit. So first we say everything that you experience is just your vision, right? It's your vision. It's your vision. It's your projection. So this is what Chandrarakshita is saying, whatever you see is your vision. There's no outer phenomena. Again, we have to understand that even in the Sakyas tradition of the path and its fruit, we are not, jumping into that vision. First, we have one step above that, unscrutinized. When let's say if someone go to Sakya Pandita, and then if he asks, what is this? Sakya Pandita would not say it is an illusion of your tissue. He would not say that. He would say this is a tissue. Then if you ask, really, is this a tissue? Then he would say, if he knew that you are really thinking about something, then he would say, no, it's not the tissue outside, but it's your vision of tissue. Okay, so that we have to understand, because these guys really respect the other's perspective, others' view, how they view things, and especially they respect the others point of view. They don't just smash them.
So does that mean that Shantarakshita does not actually really deny that they are outer phenomena?
Yeah, more or less you can say that, when unscrutinized, he does not deny it. But it's not that he is accepting the outer phenomena. It's that he is kind of feeling empathy to the other guy who is thinking it is in a tissue out there. So he is just to respect other guy, to give respect. Then he would say, okay, this is tissue.
So he does think that there is no outer phenomena.
Okay, yeah, I would say, okay, yeah.
Okay.
From his view, okay, from his view, he would say no tissue outside. But just to respect others, he would say, okay, tissue, there's tissue.
Okay.
And it is same with the Chandakirti. I would say it's the same with the Chandakirti.
Well, I'm familiar with Chandakirti's view because I'm trained by Gelug teachers. I'm trying to learn the other schools here coming to this class.
Yes, same with I would say.
Yeah, so in terms of Shantarashita thinking that there is no outer phenomena, so my curiosity has always been, what does he think about his own body? Because there is always a mind and the body, right? What about the body that is attached to the mind? Is that an outer phenomena? I mean, there has to be outer phenomena. So that's my curiosity.
I think you know, really for this yes, we have this tendency to say that there has to be a body, but no, it hasn't to be like that way.
We are not in the formless realm. I mean, there are the three realms: the desire realm, form realm, and the formless realm. The beings in the formless realm doesn't have a body, but we are not in the formless realm. We are in the desire realm.
Okay, so let me tell you a story then.
Okay, I like stories.
Okay, story, right? So I think many of you have heard this many times. So there I think somewhere, I don't know where, in Tibet or somewhere, the famine, you know, the scarcity of the food, the famine happened, and then there's one mother and the parents and two kids. So then what happened was two kids were sleeping, and then they were sleeping because they were so hungry, and then the mother was also so hungry, and then father went out, and then he said, you know, he told the mother that, please just wait for 1 hour, I will get back to you, and then I will bring something to eat, definitely. Okay, something to eat, definitely. And then the mother was hoping that father will bring something to eat, but you know, the kids were sleeping, and then at the same time, at that time, what mother did was, you know, he put some sand in a rack, and then, you know, tie up on the ceiling, and then they can see that. And then, you know, they were dying, the kids were dying of you know, hunger. And the mother said, okay, don't lose hope, we have something to eat, and we are just waiting for the father. So at that point, what do you think, you know, the kids seeing, when the kids look at that in the rack, what do you think they are seeing?
Well, they just see the rack, they can't see inside.
What's their imagination? You know,
They
why
imagine that there's food inside.
Right, you know, they have this idea of food in the rack, isn't it? The food in the rack, although it's just a sand, but you see, you imagine, you believe it's a food, and that's why they are survive until until the father came back. And then when father came back, and then he said to the mother that I couldn't find anything. Mother died immediately. And then when the kids found that there's nothing to eat in that rack, both kids died. Why?
They lost hope.
Right? And they lost hope because they have no imagination of the food. They lost the idea of the food. So in order to see something as there, you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be there, really.
That is a perfect example of a false relative truth. I mean,
yes,
we can
false.
find examples to explain whatever we want to explain. Like the mirage is an example of false relative truth, but an actual pond with water is the true relative truth.
Really, like if I tell you honest answer to your question, relative truth you can explain in any way. You can call it there is a form, you can call it there's no form, no different. For me, I can explain from both sides, no different. I cannot find any different. If you say this is a form, or if you say this is not form, I can, I have reason for both, and then I completely follow both. I have no really like wish to follow one and then not another. So in a way, in Tibetan, we have this saying, okay, kunzo gichwe ni kang tenderes. Kunzo gichwe kang tenderes. The relative truth is like you can imagine anything you like. You can imagine anything you like because it has no base. It has no base, true base. That's why you can see anything. Look, when you look at me, how do you look at me? It's your wish.
We cannot, relative truth, we cannot imagine anything we like. Because if we can imagine anything we like, then we are distorting the law of karma. All the causes and conditions that we have created, I can just imagine them away.
No,
I'm a woman with gray hair and wearing glasses and all this, because I created the causes and condition for me to have the assistance that I'm not a guy, a handsome guy with tall 6 foot. I mean, that I cannot just sit here and imagine myself to be a handsome guy. Let's just put it that way.
How can you imagine?
Because my reality has been created by the causes and conditions that I created.
How will you imagine you as a deity?
I mean, there are different ways in which we can talk about imagining. Like right now, when I'm doing a sadhana, I generate divine pride, and I visualize myself as a deity. But if I actually truly think that I'm Avalokitesvara, I'll be committed somewhere in a mental hospital. I mean,
then I have to say sorry for you. Then if you have this kind of like if you don't believe that you are not real Avalokiteshvara, and then you are just pretending or just imagining you as a Avalokiteshvara, no, that's not the way you really practice the Avalokiteshvara practice. You really have to believe, and you really have to be the Avalokiteshvara from your bottom of your heart.
Well, that is the point of the practice, that we want to generate that very strong divine pride. But even then, if I have not accumulated the causes and conditions to be the actual Avalokiteshvara, I would not be Avalokiteshvara right at that moment.
No, I think
so the idea of imagining what I think is just one factor. I mean, what I think does not erase the history of things.
Yeah, I really think you are already Avalokiteshvara and Aryatara at the same time. I really think.
Okay, all right.
I really think that you are Avalokiteshvara at the same time you are Aryatara. Otherwise, you cannot just imagine and then you become the Avalokiteshvara. No way. No way. There's no way that, if you are functioned as a woman, and then and then you are in this form, and then you cannot do anything through your imagination, then all the meditation of the creation is a waste of time, I would say, really. And the creation of the meditation of the creation is not a waste of time, because you can change whatever the form you think that you are having right now. It can be really transformed. It can be transformed. You can transform it, because it depends on how you look at it. It depends on how you look at it. Some like Milarepa can enter into the horn. Why? He has changed his way of looking at the horn, and
Because he has created the causes and conditions for him to be able to do that. I would not be able to fit into the horn.
Marva can walk on the water. Why?
Because they have created the causes and conditions to do that.
And what's the causes and condition that? What is
all the practices that they did, in their lives before.
What does the practice do? Change the view. Change the view. That's all. What does it do? Change the view. So if you change the view, you transform. Yeah, really good. I would say thank you for this participation of it. Although it seems quite like here and there, but really I appreciate that all the comment that you made, and all the question that you raised, and all the good argument that you have put forward.
Thank you for letting me have this discussion. If I get too much of a troublemaker, please stop me.
Okay, so now I have to stop you now, because we are really, really bending the time. So please again, especially to stop this war, and then spread the compassion and loving kindness to everyone, especially those who are leading the countries and political leaders. Just just pray and imagine, and that they have generate more compassion in their mind, and then even the civilian and those people who are affected by the war and everything, especially we are going through this time now, COVID and all those things. Please pray for all sentient beings. Okay. Sonam di tamje zubani tonam nyebe donam pam jene jagana jembon to boy subizule do to jambul po chidar chimba kundo zambo de de jende de da gunje jizo don lo jenge wa de da dam jara do chanju sinjo rambo jema ke panam je ke wa nyamba me ba yang konne kondo pelwa shu. Thank you. Thank you everyone for being very patient.
Thank you, Genla, for a good teaching.
Thank you. Thank you. Aloha.
Thank you. Beautiful teachings.
Thank you. Thank you, Campbell.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's cute. That was a good lesson.